We begin tonight in Paris, where French President Emmanuel Macron has promised to step up support for Ukraine. After talks with Ukraine's President Zelensky, Macron told a joint news conference that his country will provide 2 billion euros of additional military aid.
A dramatic shift in transatlantic economic relations has unfolded as the newly elected U.S. president announced a series of tariffs on trade partners, an initiative that has sent shockwaves throughout global markets and international policy circles. At the epicenter of this seismic development is France, whose bold strategic move has not only startled the United States, but has also caught the European Union off guard. The unexpected policy direction, aimed at countering the U.S. tariffs, carries far-reaching implications for several critical sectors, including electric vehicles, oil, and broader trade dynamics between nations. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The decision by France to respond with a set of countermeasures is a testament to its determination to protect its national interests and maintain its influence within the international trade framework. This development is unfolding at a time when global economies are highly interdependent, and a single policy shift in one major economy can reverberate across multiple industries and geographies. The announcement of tariffs by the new U.S. leadership has created an atmosphere of uncertainty, compelling France to reevaluate its trade policies and devise a strategy that not only addresses immediate economic concerns, but also seeks to secure a longer-term competitive advantage in sectors such as electric vehicles and oil. The situation represents a rare moment of economic confrontation between two of the world's most influential regions. The U.S., with its robust political influence and significant economic clout, has traditionally been seen as setting the rules of engagement in international trade. However, the aggressive imposition of tariffs by the new president has disrupted the established order, prompting a swift and decisive reaction from France. This counteroffensive is reflective of a broader recalibration within the European economic sphere, where leaders are increasingly prepared to assert their interests in the face of unilateral U.S. trade measures. In the realm of electric vehicles, the implications of these policy moves are particularly significant. France has been investing heavily in green technology and renewable energy sources, and its automotive industry has emerged as a key player in the electric vehicle market. The tariffs imposed by the U.S. threaten to distort the competitive landscape by potentially increasing the cost of imported vehicles and components, thereby affecting the entire supply chain. As the U.S. looks to protect its domestic industries, French manufacturers find themselves at the intersection of global trade tensions and technological innovation. The countermeasures introduced by France are designed to mitigate these disruptions, ensuring that their electric vehicle sector continues to thrive despite the challenges posed by heightened protectionism. The oil industry, too, is facing a period of heightened volatility as trade policies shift dramatically. The global oil market is notoriously sensitive to political and economic changes, and any uncertainty can lead to significant price fluctuations. The U.S. tariffs, aimed at safeguarding domestic oil production and reducing dependency on foreign sources, have introduced a new variable into an already complex equation. France's response, therefore, has been carefully calibrated to preserve access to critical energy resources while also signaling a commitment to the broader principles of free trade. This balancing act is emblematic of the broader challenges facing the European Union, where the need to secure energy supplies must be weighed against the imperatives of maintaining robust trade relationships with key global partners. Trade between the United States and its allies has long been characterized by a delicate equilibrium where mutual dependencies have historically acted as a stabilizing force. The current disruption represents a profound departure from this model. The U.S. tariffs have not only raised the specter of retaliatory measures, but have also undermined the confidence that underpins international commerce. In this context, France's audacious move is emblematic of a new era in which nations are more willing to challenge the status quo in order to safeguard their economic sovereignty. The French government's decision to implement countermeasures is a clear signal that European nations will not passively accept policies that jeopardize their economic interests, even if it means confronting a powerful ally on the global stage. Economic interdependencies have always been a double-edged sword, offering both opportunities and vulnerabilities. The current episode underscores the inherent risks associated with highly integrated supply chains and global markets. As tariffs are imposed and countermeasures taken, the immediate consequence is a reshaping of the competitive landscape. Industries that once relied on free-flowing trade and minimal restrictions are now forced to adapt to a new reality marked by increased costs, logistical challenges, and heightened uncertainty. The electric vehicle sector, in particular, is experiencing a profound transformation. Manufacturers are compelled to reconsider their sourcing strategies and to reconfigure production networks in order to remain competitive in a market that is rapidly evolving under the pressure of geopolitical tensions. At the same time, the oil market is witnessing an intensified struggle for dominance as nations jostle for control over dwindling resources and strategic reserves. The imposition of tariffs on oil imports by the United States has been met with a calculated response from France, which seeks to secure a stable supply while also promoting sustainable energy policies. This dual focus on short-term security and long-term innovation reflects a broader trend in which traditional energy sectors are increasingly intersecting with emerging technologies. French policymakers are acutely aware of the need to diversify their energy portfolios and to invest in renewable sources, even as they contend with the immediate challenges posed by fluctuating oil prices and disrupted trade flows. The broader implications of this event extend far beyond the specific sectors affected. The interplay between domestic economic policies and international trade agreements has become increasingly complex in an era characterized by rapid technological change and shifting geopolitical alliances. The U.S. decision to impose tariffs is emblematic of a broader trend toward economic nationalism, a movement that prioritizes domestic interests over the traditional norms of free trade. This shift has profound implications for global governance and for the institutions that have long served as the bedrock of the international economic order. France's response, in stark contrast, is rooted in a vision of multilateral cooperation and open markets. This divergence in approach underscores a fundamental tension between competing visions of global economic policy, one that will likely shape the contours of international relations for years to come. The electric vehicle market stands as a microcosm of these broader trends. Innovations in battery technology, advancements in sustainable materials, and the ongoing transition away from fossil fuels are all converging to create a dynamic and rapidly evolving industry. However, this potential for growth is being undermined by the uncertainties introduced by protectionist measures. For French manufacturers, the imposition of tariffs threatens to disrupt carefully calibrated production strategies and to diminish their competitive edge in a sector that is increasingly reliant on global cooperation. The French government's bold move is intended to send a clear message that the country will not be relegated to the margins of this transformative industry. Instead, it seeks to assert its leadership by championing policies that promote innovation, investment, and a more equitable distribution of the benefits associated with the transition to green technologies. In addition to the immediate economic ramifications, the current developments are also reshaping the political landscape. The decision to impose tariffs has ignited a fierce debate within both the United States and Europe, pitting advocates of economic nationalism against proponents of global integration. In the U.S., the new president's policies have been characterized by their unilateral nature, a stark departure from previous administrations that favored a more multilateral approach. This shift has emboldened political factions that advocate for a more isolationist stance, further polarizing an already divided electorate. Meanwhile, in Europe, the reaction has been one of measured outrage and strategic recalibration. French leaders have mobilized to articulate an alternative vision, one that emphasizes the importance of international cooperation and the need for collective action in the face of global challenges. The intricate dynamics of global trade are now coming under unprecedented strain as nations navigate a landscape marked by unpredictability and rapid change. The interplay between protectionist policies and the imperatives of free trade has created a situation in which the traditional rules of engagement are being rewritten. France's bold response serves as a case study in how a nation can assert its economic autonomy in the face of overwhelming pressure from larger powers. The implications for the broader international community are profound, as other countries will undoubtedly be watching closely to see whether similar strategies might be employed in response to unilateral trade measures. The outcome of this confrontation could well serve as a blueprint for future policy decisions, shaping the contours of global commerce in an era marked by rapid technological innovation and shifting geopolitical alliances. Underlying these policy shifts is a broader narrative about the evolving nature of global economic power. For decades, the United States has been the undisputed leader in setting the terms of international trade, its policies reflecting a deep-seated belief in the virtues of free markets and open competition. However, the current episode highlights the limits of this approach, as nations like France are increasingly willing to challenge the dominant paradigm in order to safeguard their strategic interests. The decision to impose tariffs by the U.S. administration has exposed underlying vulnerabilities in a system that, while immensely powerful, is not immune to the forces of change and disruption. France's response is indicative of a growing willingness among European nations to adopt a more assertive posture in global economic affairs, one that prioritizes national interests and long-term strategic goals over short-term gains. At the heart of the debate is the question of how best to navigate the challenges of an interconnected world without sacrificing the economic advantages that come from participation in global markets. The new U.S. tariffs have forced policymakers to confront the realities of an increasingly fragmented economic landscape, one in which alliances are fluid and the balance of power is in constant flux. France's countermeasures, therefore, are not merely a reaction to a single policy announcement, but are part of a broader effort to redefine the parameters of international trade. The emphasis on electric vehicles and oil is particularly noteworthy, as it reflects a recognition that the industries of the future will be shaped by innovations in technology and energy. By positioning itself at the forefront of these sectors, France is seeking to chart a course that is both economically sustainable and politically resilient. The ripple effects of this confrontation are being felt across multiple dimensions of international policy and economic strategy. The tariff dispute has forced a re-evaluation of long-standing trade relationships, compelling both the United States and its allies to reconsider the terms of their economic engagement. This re-examination is not confined to the realm of trade statistics or balance sheets. It has profound implications for diplomatic relations and the overall stability of the global economic system. The willingness of a major European power to confront the United States on economic policy underscores a broader shift in the international order, one in which traditional hierarchies are being questioned and new alliances are emerging. Technological innovation, particularly in the realm of electric vehicles, is emerging as one of the most critical battlegrounds in this evolving conflict. Advances in battery technology, energy efficiency, and sustainable manufacturing processes are not only reshaping the automotive industry, but are also redefining the economic landscape on a global scale. The aggressive stance taken by the U.S. administration has the potential to disrupt these technological advancements, forcing manufacturers to adapt to new realities and reconfigure their supply chains. French industry, buoyed by decades of investment in research and development, now faces the dual challenge of navigating increased trade barriers while also accelerating the pace of innovation. The stakes are high, as success in this arena could determine the long-term competitive positioning of nations in the rapidly expanding green economy. Economic policy has always been a reflection of deeper ideological currents, and the current clash between the United States and France is no exception. The imposition of tariffs by the new U.S. president is rooted in a philosophy of economic nationalism that places a premium on domestic production and self-reliance. This approach, while offering short-term benefits for certain industries, risks undermining the collaborative frameworks that have been instrumental in driving global growth over the past several decades. France's counteraction, by contrast, embodies a commitment to multilateralism and international cooperation, principles that have long been associated with European economic philosophy. The divergence between these two worldviews is stark, and it is playing out in real time as nations grapple with the practical implications of competing economic models. The complexities of the current trade dispute extend into the realm of diplomacy, where economic measures are increasingly intertwined with geopolitical strategy. The decision by France to adopt a proactive stance is a clear signal to other nations that the era of unchallenged U.S. economic hegemony may be drawing to a close. The recalibration of trade policies is accompanied by an intensified focus on forging new alliances and strengthening existing partnerships. For European nations, this moment represents an opportunity to reassert their influence on the global stage, leveraging their collective economic strength to counterbalance unilateral actions by the United States. The narrative is one of resilience and determination, as policymakers seek to build a framework for international trade that is both fair and forward-looking. The economic landscape in which these policy decisions are being made is characterized by rapid technological change, shifting market dynamics, and an increasing awareness of environmental imperatives. The focus on electric vehicles is not merely a response to current market trends, but is emblematic of a broader transformation that is reshaping the global economy. Innovations in renewable energy and sustainable transportation are rapidly altering the competitive dynamics within the automotive industry, with countries vying for leadership in these emerging fields. France's strategic maneuvering in this context is aimed at ensuring that its industries remain at the forefront of these developments, even as traditional power structures are challenged by new geopolitical realities. Oil markets, which have long been a barometer of global economic health, are also experiencing significant disruptions as a result of these policy changes. The imposition of tariffs on oil imports by the United States has introduced a new element of unpredictability into an already volatile market. This unpredictability is compounded by the broader geopolitical tensions that have emerged as a consequence of the trade dispute. France's approach has been to secure a stable and diversified energy supply while also investing in alternative energy sources that promise to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. The interplay between short-term security concerns and long-term sustainability goals is a recurring theme in this unfolding drama, and it underscores the multifaceted nature of the challenges facing both policymakers and industry leaders. The confrontation over trade policies is emblematic of a broader struggle to define the future of international economic relations. The decisions made in the coming months are likely to have far-reaching consequences for the structure of global trade, the dynamics of industrial competition, and the geopolitical landscape as a whole. France's audacious move in response to U.S. tariffs has set the stage for a period of intense negotiation and strategic realignment, as nations seek to protect their interests while navigating an increasingly complex network of interdependencies. The stakes are exceptionally high, and the choices made at this critical juncture will reverberate through the corridors of power for years to come. Central to this unfolding scenario is a deep-seated debate about the balance between national sovereignty and global integration. The unilateral actions taken by the U.S. administration reflect a growing sentiment that nations must prioritize their own economic security above all else. Yet the countermeasures adopted by France highlight a contrasting perspective, one that recognizes the enduring value of international collaboration and the benefits of open markets. The tension between these two approaches is not merely academic. It has tangible consequences for industries ranging from electric vehicles to oil, influencing everything from pricing structures to supply chain configurations. In this context, the current confrontation is more than a simple dispute over tariffs. It is a fundamental contest between competing visions of economic governance and global leadership. A closer examination of the strategies employed by both sides reveals a complex interplay of economic, political, and technological factors. The U.S. tariffs, designed to shield domestic industries and reduce reliance on foreign goods, represent an aggressive reorientation of economic policy that seeks to recalibrate the global balance of power. This policy, while aimed at fostering self-reliance, inadvertently creates ripples of uncertainty across international markets. France's response, characterized by a willingness to engage in robust countermeasures, is indicative of a broader strategy that seeks to preserve economic stability while challenging the assumptions of unilateral dominance. The interaction between these contrasting approaches creates a dynamic environment in which traditional alliances are tested and new forms of cooperation are explored. Technological innovation, particularly in the sphere of electric vehicles, emerges as both a catalyst and a casualty of the current policy shifts. The rapid pace of change in this industry is forcing established players to re-examine their strategies and embrace new models of production and distribution. For France, the stakes are exceptionally high as its automotive industry has been a cornerstone of national pride and economic vitality for decades. The pressures generated by U.S. tariffs threaten to disrupt carefully honed supply chains and challenge the technological leadership that French manufacturers have worked tirelessly to establish. In response, French policymakers have mobilized a comprehensive strategy that not only addresses immediate economic challenges, but also lays the groundwork for sustained innovation and competitiveness in the electric vehicle market. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on France's response to Trump's tariffs? How will it impact trade? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.